Hello everyone, it's Chatty Sparkly Runners back again for another episode, and this one is all about your longest run of the week, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's important, isn't it?
Yeah, because last week we talked about varying your runs.
Yeah, and one of the major ways
to do that
is to run different distances each time.
And we had some questions.
Yeah, so because your body loves variation, it doesn't like doing the same thing all the time. So you vary the distance of your runs, and so how do you know what the longest run's going to be?
Yeah, how do you know what, you might think, well, how far should I run on my longest run? Am I doing it right? So we thought we'd give you some more hints and tips today about that.
Because there's so different, people are so different that watch Chatty Sparkly Runners, we can't say, oh, it should be this time or this distance, but what we can do is we can sort of set some golden rules, and
some golden rules and some guidelines for you.
Yeah, so there's 4 things about
golden rules first.
Yeah, that you should.
Shall we try and run?
Yeah, go on.
Go on, let's try.
So the first one is the same as what I said before. You should finish your run.
We say this all the time, don't we?
Always finishing, knowing you could do more.
Yeah.
So that's number 1. Number 2, the longest run, there's really good reasons, which we'll talk about at the end, why it's best to be really gentle and super chatty, especially when you start.
So it should be your gentlest run of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Third one is you should, just like we're doing now, have really good running form. And if you lose your running form, and the New Zealanders, I think they call it the soft shoe shuffle. Right. I call it the dead man shuffle. Start going.
Yeah, and you can like tell because you feel tired and everything goes, doesn't it?
Yeah, everything sags. If you lose form, you stop. And the other thing.
And walk home.
Yeah, walk.
Yeah, you've run too far.
You won't go too fast. And the other thing is, you've got to really think about how much recovery that you're going to take, and your long run really shouldn't take you more than a couple of days to recover from.
So if you're running so far that you need a week to recover,
it's miles too much for you,
much too much,
and a big injury risk.
Yeah. So it's all about balance, isn't it?
Yes.
Balancing the running and the recovering. That's what we say.
Yeah. So let's give you a few examples. Say you were running 35-40 minutes for your average run, then you could run, your long run could be 60 minutes to 70 minutes, and you're not going to feel tired, you're not going to lose form with that.
I will say, before we start saying that, you've got to build this up gradually, and we have done a video on that.
Yes.
So go to episode 21 on our YouTube channel.
You sure it's 21?
Yeah. Pretty sure. Crossing my fingers, it's 21.
You looked it up.
Looked it up. Yeah. So we have talked a little bit about how to build your long run up on there, so it's worth going to see that. So back to what you were saying.
Yeah, so what about if you're doing a 10k?
Hang on, I'm going into dips.
Yeah, sorry, I'm doing my normal.
You're doing my normal. No hedges, it's dips today.
So if you're going to do 10k and you're going to take, I don't know, 60 minutes, 70 minutes, if you do your long run in 60 minutes, you're going to make it round to 10k. If you're going to do a half marathon, and I don't want to go into distances, but I think you've got to be able to comfortably do 90 minutes and not feel like it's really affected you.
Even if you're going to run a half marathon in, say, 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And some people might be really surprised by that, because I know I've had beginners who are wanting to do a 10k, and they're absolutely sure that they don't want to do that 10k race until they've covered the distance in training.
I know, yeah.
But we found that you don't need to do that, do you?
No, as long as you can do half the distance, you can do the full distance on the race day.
And that applies for all distances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we come to
and including the big one, which is next.
The marathon. The marathon. So this always seems, to me, it's absolute common sense, but it seems to be so controversial when we say, oh, we're going up quite a steep hill.
Yeah, now. I think we'll turn around and go back to the car.
Yeah.
This way.
Okay.
We'll turn around and show
we're
everybody the view.
We're talking about marathon runners, yeah.
As we turn round.
Okay. So
back to the marathon.
Yeah, marathon. Okay. So the marathon, as we all know, is 26 miles. And I would say, and we have a golden rule that we've done with lots and lots, and people can comment below that have followed this with me. 2.5 hours is the maximum that you need to run.
In your long run.
In your long run. Now, Lorraine Moller, who I work with at the Lydiard Foundation, she says you can go up to 3 hours, but she would just do that once 6 weeks before the actual marathon. So, but we've had great success with 2.5 hours.
Right.
And there's lots of reasons for that. In that 2.5 hours, if you gradually build up to it, you're going to recover in a couple of days, which means that you can do more running in the rest of the week.
Yeah.
So you actually do more volume of running. And the other people will say, I've got to do 20 miles. 20 miles is on a lot of plans.
Yeah.
Because I've got to
And
be
they
able
feel
to
they've got to do it.
I've got to be able to get to 20 miles, because if I can get to 20 miles, I can do the marathon. Well, I can tell you, 20 miles is a long way. It's a long way from 20 miles to the finish of a marathon. And what it does, if
I think we're going to run because I'm freezing.
Okay, if you run 20 miles in your training run,
Yeah.
you're at a big injury risk, and it's going to take 4 hours to do. You're going to be, you're
4
breaking the
hours more, some
golden,
people.
you're breaking the golden rule, because you'll be just back to a dead man shuffle.
Yeah,
You're going to
that's
take
true.
more than 2 days to recover. But more importantly, it sets up a negative feedback loop, because you think, oh, I hate doing it, and these people, I've just, I've heard them, and they, I hate doing it, I really hated doing 20 miles, I couldn't, I just felt tired the whole rest of the week, and so they're dreading getting to 20 miles.
I'm not surprised.
But if you do 2.5 hours and you do 13 miles, and you're doing it easy and you're finishing comfortably, then that's a positive feedback loop.
So what do you say to people that say, well, I can't believe that I can possibly then go and run a marathon on 2.5 hours long run?
Well, 2 things I say.
Comment below everybody that's done it, because you can do it, can't you?
Yeah, I say, first of all, if you're going to do a 100-mile ultra, would someone who's doing a 100-mile ultra do 85 miles as a training run? No, they wouldn't, because it would be too tiring for them. And the same goes for the person who's doing it. It's too big an injury risk as well. So don't do it, stick to 2.5 hours, be confident, enjoy yourself, set up a positive feedback loop rather than a negative one.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, don't eat any gels or...
Yeah, we covered this one, didn't we, in the
Yeah.
last video, but it's worth saying again.
Yeah, well, let me just go through the theory. Why you have to go gently, because we did mention it at the beginning. Why do you need to go gently on your long runs? Why should it be the most gentlest? And the reason for that is
And the
because
horses.
little pony
Oh.
is when you run gently, what your body does is it uses fat as a fuel. And if you think of it like a fire, the fat is the slowest burning. It's like coal on the fire, and it lasts forever. And you don't run out of it. You'll never run out of fat once you get it going. But if you run just a little bit too fast, what happens is your body, it has to put wood on the fire. You're asking for too much energy. So what happens is you have to burn the carbohydrates. You have to use your glycogen. And that will run out after an hour and 45 minutes, and people will know this. They go for their run and you feel all right 1 second, and you're going along, moving along, and within a couple of 100 yards you're walking, you've run out of energy. And that's what happens when you've lost your glycogen. They call it hitting the wall. So
You've got to train your body
absolutely
burn fat.
you've got
You
to
don't say
train
burn fat.
to use your
To
to use your fat metabolism. So what you're doing is you're using your fat stores as your energy supply. And so you can carry on forever. So if you're doing a 4-hour marathon, that's absolutely vital.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, and not only that, it's great because you never get tired. So I've done that today. I've done my 2-hour run today, and I'm
Without
back out
taking
today.
any gels or anything.
Oh, no gels, because as soon as you put gels in, or sugar babies or anything, what they call jelly babies, as soon as you do that, you're giving your body sugar. So why would it use the fat stores if you're giving it sugar? So
Okay, so don't eat on your
yeah.
long runs.
And there is a
your body
reason.
up.
There's 2 really good reasons why 20 miles or even 22 miles is on training plans, and it's because they're watered down elite versions.
Yeah.
So
if you think about it, 22 miles an elite runner will
Yeah.
do that in how long?
yeah, we'll do 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours.
So my top marathon runner, who runs 2.5 hours, he'd do a 20-mile training run, and it'd
Yeah,
take
and it
him
won't
2.5
touch him.
hours, and he'll
And he'll be recovered in a couple
and he
of days.
will recover in 2 days,
Yeah.
and he will feel like he's done more. If you're someone that's doing a 5-hour marathon and you do 22 miles, well, you're going to set off first thing in the morning and not come back till after lunch.
And it's going to take you how long to recover?
Well, over a week.
A week or even more.
Yeah, so you miss out on the
and
volume
you'll be
of
breaking
training.
all those golden rules.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's enough on that.
I'm sure there'll be some debate on
There will be a little bit of debate.
There's always is.
I want to ask you a question now.
Yeah.
Because I'm not doing a long run at the minute because
No.
I'm building back up again. Got a couple of runs, 30-minute runs going in the week, but I'm doing a lovely long walk. Is that just as good?
Yeah, well, it is for a beginner. A long
Yeah.
walk is the same as an experienced runner's long run. So an hour and a half walk for someone
That's what I do.
who does 2 runs in the week is
Yeah.
fantastic. And again, it's teaching your fat metabolism to work.
Strengthening you up as well. You're
Yeah.
walking on the hills. So going for a walk is great, and that's what I recommend to a lot of my beginners. So you may not be doing a long run, you may be just running a couple of times a week, but go for a nice long walk,
Yeah.
and you can take your family with you on that if you push for time.
So hang on a minute, because we just give them a 360-degree turn.
Yeah, I'm
'Cause slower,
absolutely
slower.
frozen.
It's
I
funny
can't
that
feel my fingers.
it's funny that no one else is here.
No,
Strange that, isn't it?
isn't it? We're on top of the Long Mint, in case
Yeah,
you didn't
and
notice.
that's-
People that are Shropshire based will have recognised it.
And that's Pole Bank, the highest
Yeah.
point. We were going to go up there, but it's just, thankfully, just a bit too windy.
Yeah, just a bit too windy, so stayed here. So that's all about the longest run of the week.
I'm
And
sure
hopefully
there'll be
we've-
some comments.
Yeah, we've given you some hints and tips, but please ask us questions.
And not only that, the people that we've coached to do 2.5 hours and it's worked, can you just back us up on this one?
Yeah, definitely. So talk about your experience.
Yeah.
Yes, so do visit us on our website, our YouTube channel, Facebook page where we post the video, and join our Facebook group for plenty of advice and
that
top
long
tips.
run, the other long run where we went into a bit more detail,
Yeah, episode 21.
episode 20.
Yeah, take a look at that one as well. And we're also posting a little mini clip in the middle of the week, aren't we? It's all
Yeah,
about
'cause that's gone well.
recovery.
Yeah.
So learn a bit more about recovery if you go to our Facebook page or our Facebook group. We'll give
Yeah,
you some
because
more
it is
tips on that.
important to know when you're recovered.
Yeah. Can I go home now? 'Cause
Warm
I'm
up.
like an ice cube.
2 degrees.
2 degrees up here.
Yeah, okay. Have I
Okay,
got to read
so we'll see you next week, everybody.
those? Okay, bye.
Bye.